Hey LBJ family, I wanted to talk to you about the recipes that we chose for you guys. The Picchi Pacchiu sauce that I picked for you guys has been with me for a long time. When I went and trained in Italy on how to make Italian food, this was one of the sauces that got introduced to me. And the way they introduced that sauce to me is that it was all about Italian cooking. That Italian cooking comes from the earth. So the recipe calls for cherry tomatoes, which comes from the earth, garlic, olive oil, which comes from the olives, all from the earth, and the basil. All these small ingredients really kind of combine each other to marry and make a really great sauce that is so universal. So you can take it and do anything with it. You can make it your own. So take the base of what I'm showing you how to do. The way the olive oil and the tomatoes just emulsify together is really, really awesome. Total flavor of Italy. It's dear to my heart as far as cooking. The sea bass that I paired with it, I wanted to do a really strong white fish instead of something really light and dainty. I wanted the sauce to stand up as well as the fish, so it kind of all goes inside with each other. So the connection for me on that recipe is just 100% what Italian cooking is meant to be. It's very healthy. There's no fillers. There's no added sugars. Nothing like that. It's olive oil, garlic, cherry tomato, salt, pepper, and basil. So I hope you all enjoy it. Hope it works out great for you. And I would love to hear how you guys make this different, adding caramelized onions or adding, something different to it, which will make it just your own. So email me at oscar.marquez@harrishealth.org. I'm here for you guys, or just drop by the cafe and come say hi. Give me some ideas of what you want on the menu, and let's see how we can make this work. So thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. All right, LBJ family, we're going to start cooking what we were talking about, the Picchi Pacchiu. Now that you have already made the sauce and the cherry tomatoes are broken, the garlic is nice and soft, and the aromatics of the basil is coming out, then you're going to have a sauce that's going to look somewhat like this. So it's an olive oil based sauce with the cherry tomatoes. It all comes together, has a really good fragrance, and it's celebrating summer because it's all about an Italian cooking theme, right? So we're going to start cooking it now. So once your sauce is cooked and you have it put away, you're going to heat it up slightly on really low flame. Your pan you're going to have nice and hot. I have already cooked the pasta for this video, so I have it nice and ready to go. Still warm. I'm going to put some gloves on. Now when we're talking about searing fish, or especially white fish, it really doesn't have a lot of fat for it to cook correctly, right? So you have to kind of add that in. So in the pan, I added about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of oil, letting that get really hot. Remember, since you have a pretty white piece of fish, all you want to do is salt it lightly. One side, pat it a little bit, that way you make sure the salt is in there. You're going to season the other side. You can see it's nicely seasoned, not a lot of salt, no black pepper. Now the way that you know that your pan is nice and hot and your oil is ready to go is it dances around in the pan. See how it dances really nice and easy? Now what we're going to do is start adding in the fish. Now so you don't burn yourself and no oil starts splatting at you, you want to lift the pan just a little bit and you want to add the fish slowly into the pan. Now, as you can see, I can move it around and it still moves, right? So we're going to sear that on one side for about 3 to 4 minutes so we can get a nicely golden, crisp edge on it. You can use a spatula for this application to flip the fish if you feel more comfortable that way. I still use tongs because I'm really comfortable with them. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of let the fish go. Push down just a little bit so you can make sure that the bottom doesn't curve in a U and just the sides get brown. You want to kind of push the middle just a little bit so you can make sure that it cooks evenly. Now the cool thing about fish is if you can zoom in here, you can start seeing the crust form. So the crust is forming, the fish is starting to cook, and you can see how it's getting opaque. So the fish is actually telling you how it's cooking. It's super cool. A little bit of fire never hurts anybody. You got to watch out a little bit. Sauce is getting nice and hot. You don't want to overcook it, so I'm going to turn that off. As you can tell, the basil's been cooked in there, the olive oil, all that sauce. It's just a beautiful looking sauce. It's almost ready to turn over. Give it about another couple seconds for my liking. Now remember, in the recipes, since we got to cook 4 of these, you're going to sear one side and you're going to turn them over and put them on a sheet pan. And we're going to put them directly in the oven when you're done for about another 3 or 4 minutes so they can cook through. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to turn this over. Look how beautiful crusted that is. So I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to put this in the oven. Let that cook for us. Now, we're going to take the sauce, heat that up a little bit. Now, the cool thing about the recipes that I made for y'all is that I made enough sauce and we're making enough pasta for seconds and leftovers. Because I love pasta leftovers. It always works out great, especially with this sauce. So as you can tell, now that the sauce is incorporated with the pasta, look how creamy that looks. There's no cream in there. There's no artificial flavors or any kind of fillers. It's just olive oil, garlic, cherry tomatoes, and basil. That's all you're getting in here with a little bit of salt. Letting the fish cook through, it should take another minute or 2. All right, y'all, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. This fish is ready to come out. As you can tell, it's a beautiful piece of fish. It's nicely crusted. And if you look at the bottom, same thing. It's beautiful, right? So we're going to bring this over to this table. We're going to start plating. So once your pasta is done and you have it in a pot, you already tossed all your beautiful pasta in there with the sauce, so you see how creamy that is. I'm going to plate in a bowl today. And I'm going to figure out, when you plate your bowl, where you want the fish to sit and where you want the pasta to sit. So today I'm going to put the pasta at about 11 o'clock. And I'm going to set the fish right here, right in the middle, between the 3 and the 5. So let's go. Twirling pasta. A lot of people have a hard time twirling pasta, making it look real pretty. So I'm going to show you a trick. So if you just use your tongs and kind of twirl inside already, and all you're going to do is layer it. You can see all I'm doing is layering it. Let's get some of these cherry tomatoes to go right on top. I'm going to get this beautiful piece of fish. I'm going to set that sucker right there. But folks, we're not done. In the recipe, we have a pan sauce that we're going to make that takes seconds. Come with me. I'm going to set this pan back on. All the excess oil we're going to get rid of. We have butter, a little bit of white wine, and some parsley. So as you can tell, the pan is ready to go. So all these little goodness that you see on the bottom here, it's called a fond. All this fond right here is just caramelized proteins that have come from the fish. That's going to give it a really cool flavor. So we're going to deglaze. Let that wine kind of absorb all that fond. Let that reduce down just a little bit. Take the alcohol out of the wine. Make sure the sugars come out. Now, as you can see, the wine has gotten pretty thick, right? Now we're going to add some of the butter. Turn the flame off. Just going to move it around just a little bit. As you can tell, it's already forming your sauce. The parsley is going to add a really nice earthy flavor to it, make the fish taste really, really clean. But as you can tell, the butter has already kind of made itself into a sauce. Just waiting for that little bit to melt. Now I'm going to add in the parsley. And the sauce is forming itself. Look how beautiful that sauce looks. So really quick white wine butter sauce with some parsley. We're going to garnish our fish. Come with me. All I'm going to do is get a little bit of that sauce. I'm going to pour it right on top. Make sure it pools a little bit on the side. And this is your fettuccine Picchi Pacchiu with seared sea bass and a white wine butter and parsley sauce.